Medellin, Colombia, and some neighboring towns fill up the entire Apure Valley. It might be difficult for someone coming to the city to figure out exactly where to go. There are 16 comunas, or districts, and 271 barrios, or neighborhoods. I have been here for only 4 weeks, so I am far from being an expert on all those comunas and barrios. Here, though, I will show you most of the places that I have visited. Maybe that will give you an idea of where to start if you're traveling to Medellin. I'll begin with the top neighborhood in Medellin for first-time travelers to the city. This is El Poblado. Today, it is a thriving part of the city, full of shops, restaurants, bars, and places to stay. Technically, this is Comuna 14 and the largest of all those divisions of the municipality. El Poblado translates as the village and was the site of the first European settlement in the Apure Valley. I didn't spend a tremendous amount of time here, but I enjoyed those moments when I did. For instance, I stopped at Arte Dolce for some ice cream. That was when my brother and sister-in-law came for a visit. Everyone seemed to enjoy the flavor that they chose. I heard really good things about this place from a couple of people, so I came here. One of the first places I stopped in El Poblado. I got Amarena, which is a wild cherry flavor. It's sweet, it's sour, and it's really good. This does not disappoint. None of us eat ice cream frequently, but we were all glad that we stopped at this spot. Together and separately, we wandered around the main part of El Poblado. It is modern, it is lively, and it caters to visitors like no other part of Medellin. My first take on El Poblado, this seems like just a giant playground. The shops, the restaurants, all of the places are modern and interesting, and this place looks like it was plopped down right in the middle of a jungle. The trees, the greenery, fantastic. Most of the time, buildings sit amidst the trees. In some areas, though, nature stands alone. Beauty of another kind exists here as well. The neighborhood boasts an abundance of street art. It is scattered through all sections, but in spots, there are concentrations of murals. This is one of those sites, just a few blocks from the main park. This is fun for anyone of any age and at any time of the day. At its heart, however, El Poblado is for the young, and especially those who won't turn down a good party. This part of town is renowned for its nightlife. We're in the middle of the day right now, so it's pretty quiet, but there are a ton of clubs and restaurants on this one street. I bet in the evening this place is hopping and the music is loud. I would say El Poblado is safe, but I'm told there can be dangers for those who drink more than they should or are looking for a quick hookup. Tourists with resources can be targets wherever they congregate. Probably the second most popular neighborhood for those visiting the city is Laureles. Located west of the city center, this area is largely upper middle class and has numerous hotels and other lodging for visitors. This could be my favorite part of the city. It is a lot more laid back than El Poblado. There are restaurants, places to eat, places to drink in every direction. Plus, there's an infinite amount of green. It is a really comfortable place to be. Others absolutely agree with my assessment. In the fall of 2023, Laureles was named the world's coolest neighborhood in a survey conducted by Time Out magazine. There is plenty to see and do in this part of the city. Coffee shops are plentiful. One of my favorites was Rituales. I stopped in several times as I was exploring the neighborhood. You might remember the video that I did from the coffee farm where I went and took the tour right here in Medellin. Well, this place has a connection to that. They use the beans that are produced there. Naturally, I come here and get a chocolate drink, but nonetheless, it's pretty cool. That actually needs a little clarification. The coffee at Rituales doesn't come from the specific farm that I visited, but instead from La Sierra, the district where the farm is located. It's always nice to see businesses supporting local producers. There are a number of parks scattered around Laureles. They aren't huge places, but they provide nice areas to relax and watch people getting on with their days. With all the greenery throughout, the entire neighborhood has a park-like feel. Lots of restaurants and places to get a drink fill the neighborhood. I tried out many of them. I relished the time I spent in Laureles. Visitors would not go wrong booking a place to stay either here or in El Poblado. Conquistadores is a neighborhood located right in the southeast corner of Laureles. It is filled with apartments and condominiums situated on leafy green streets. There are 15 parks within the area, and this is considered to be one of the best places to live within the city. I stayed right on the southern border of Conquistadores. Avenue 33 is a busy road that forms that boundary. It is noisy and packed with cars, and not the most appealing street I've ever seen. Just a block away, though, the atmosphere changes for the better immediately. This is my Airbnb. It was a 2-level unit with a loft at the top of a 6-story building. I enjoyed this place immensely. The neighborhood was comfortable, and I felt right at home. This is absolutely my favorite place to have a beer in Medellin. It's called Punta Arena. It is in the Conquistadores neighborhood, which is a part of the larger Laureles neighborhood. This is a sweet stout. It is exceptional, and every beer that I've had here has been magnificent. So this is just a wonderful place to come and try new things. Punta Arena makes a couple of beers that it serves here, but all the other taps are occupied by outside brewers. The selection changes often. Food here was good as well. Close by, I found my favorite coffee shop. This is Torbellino Café de Origin. The coffee is good, a little bit stronger than I usually drink, but still good. This place, though, is phenomenal. Inside is just adorable, and then we've got this outside area. This place fits perfectly into the neighborhood. All sorts of plants are for sale in the outside portion of this place. It's a cool combination that I don't think I have ever seen before. For the plants and the coffee and the modern decor, I would recommend giving this a try. Conquistadores is a perfect area to serve as your base when visiting Medellin. The most colorful part of the city is Comuna 13. As I've mentioned in previous videos, Comuna 13 was once considered the most dangerous neighborhood in the most dangerous city in the world. At least in a portion of the barrio, the change has been astounding. Graffiti and the arts played a prominent role in the transformation of this area. Creativity was applauded and rewarded, so young people found a better path than getting involved with gangs. This is not a place that you'll stay, but it's definitely one that you'll want to visit. This is absolutely the biggest tourist attraction in all of Medellin. Don't come up here though and just look at all the sights, see the colors, see the graffiti, learn the story behind that and the story of the people who lived here. It's a bit of work getting to this district, requiring a metro ride, a bus, and then a walk up the hill. Most everyone, however, will say that's all worth it.
It was a chore getting up there and do a little sweating getting up, but it was a really awesome place. I enjoyed that.
This was one of the spots my brother Gary and my sister-in-law Lynn visited while they were in Medellin.
That was a lot of fun, a lot of work to get up that steep hill and the steps, but it is beautiful and crazy all at the same time.
Once you get to the center where all the graffiti is located, it's possible to relax. 6 escalators carry people up and down the hill in this part of the neighborhood. Comuna 13 is much larger than the main tourist district. To see more of it, we took a metro cable car up out of the San Javier metro station. It's a special experience gliding over the homes and businesses of the barrio. This is where you can get a great sense of the size of the comuna and catch visions of how the people down below live. Don't miss the opportunity to discover this view of the city on the same outing during which you take in the graffiti and craziness of that primary tourist district.
Definitely take it. It's a whole lot longer than it looks from the ground. I mean, it goes up and up. It's really neat. You need to do that.
I visited Comuna 13 3 times and rode up the mountain on the metro cable twice. It never got old.
Comuna 13 is the neighborhood where the transformation is most dramatic. You can tell immediately that something great has happened here. There are other comunas, though, that I visited, and you should too, that the transformation is not that readily apparent, but it's still important to see those places and learn what the people went through.
I visited 2 other comunas where the past is full of danger and heartbreak. Comuna 4 is situated north of the city center. It had the same problems through the years as many other parts of Medellin. Drugs, gangs, left-wing guerrillas, right-wing paramilitary groups, they all plagued the neighborhood. The transformation here has been driven primarily by the women of the district. Their persistence and dedication has made this a much better place now than it was 2 or 3 decades ago. The story is much the same in Comuna 8, which sits high on the mountain to the east of the city center. Families here at times were reluctant to leave their homes because of fighting between different factions and the very real possibility of being shot in the streets. The catalyst for change here was coffee. Much like the arts drove the transformation in Comuna 13. There are now numerous farms on the hillsides producing coffee and using the beans to create a brighter future. Tours exist that allow visitors to discover places such as Comuna 8 and Comuna 4. You will meet residents and marvel at what they have overcome. It's a side of Medellin that most tourists don't take the chance to see. Likewise, it is important for visitors to leave the neighborhoods where they are staying and see the sights in the city center. There's the Parque de las Luces, or Park of Lights. When I visited, the lights were being changed out, so they were not illuminated. Still, the park is impressive. There are 300 pillars rising into the sky, along with bamboo stands and nearby water features. This was once a very sketchy part of the city, and the park has now softened that a bit. Not far away is Paseo Carabobo. This is a vibrant, hectic area where vendors fill the streets for many blocks. They sell all sorts of goods, foods, and drinks. It is quite the experience, simply walking through the gauntlet. As you move along, you won't know where to direct your attention. There are so many sounds and people and colors. Then there is the old Palace of Justice. At one time, this building was going to be demolished, but instead, it now holds shops on the bottom 2 floors and art on the top 2. This could be my favorite place downtown. It's the second time that I've been in here, and I still haven't seen it all. You could spend 2 or 3 hours going through these top 2 floors, looking at all of the artwork, and it's as impressive as any art museum you will ever visit. Totally free as well. There are spaces devoted to the work of different artists. It looks like everything is for sale. Quality seems extremely high, and I wondered if all of the artists were local. Botero Park is essentially an outside museum that is free and open to anyone. Fernando Botero, the famous Latin American sculptor and artist, was born in Medellin. He is known for his distinct style that includes larger-than-life human and animal figures where the proportions are always just a little bit off. He told the city that he would give 23 sculptures at no cost, with the stipulation that they be displayed in a location where everyone could enjoy them. It is a thrill to walk through the park from one figure to the next. The downtown area might be a little rough, a little crowded, a little noisy, but there's still plenty to see down here, and you feel perfectly safe in the daytime. I've heard from a lot of people, though, that you do not want to wander around in this section of town at night. The Alpujarra neighborhood lies just south of the city center and east of Laureles across the Medellin River. This district has lots of big, commanding structures holding corporations and the big utility company in the region. It is also home to a convention center complex. I was around as the center hosted several trade shows. Each of these brought people from throughout Colombia and beyond. Those who came to the shows here had eateries and coffee shops in the area. Cafe Origins Antioquia was one of those where I grabbed a cappuccino on occasion. I have been here numerous times. It's a great little cafe. It's got this wonderful outside area, and I come here and sit, just relax for a little while. They also have what's called a mochaccino, which is a slight variation on a cappuccino. It's quite good. I like this because of the coffee drink, sure, but also because the staff was fantastic. They would practice their English with me and also allow me to stammer out a few words in Spanish in return. Just a short distance away was the Medellin River Park. It served as the base for my morning walks while I was in the city. Since it covers both banks of the river with a northern and a southern bridge, The park is in both the Alpujarra and Laureles neighborhoods. This was my favorite outdoor space in the city. Nestled amongst some government offices was the large and intricate Monumento a la Raza, or Monument to the Race. It shows graphically a timeline of the history of the Paisa people. Those are the individuals who live in the Antioquia department. A department is similar to a state in the U.S. I don't think there were many accommodations units in Alpujarra, but it is absolutely a part of the city to visit, especially for the monument and the river park. I was thoroughly enamored with Ciudad Del Rio. That is a small neighborhood which is a part of El Poblado, at least from what I've read. The biggest attraction here is the Museum of Modern Art. It and the park which surrounds it create a central hub for the district. Just a short walk away is the Mercado del Rio. That is a very high-end food court of sorts.
I wasn't ready to eat any food and I didn't want a beer at this point, so I found a coffee shop. Got a cappuccino, of course. And this is a fantastic place, it looks like, if you want to try a whole lot of different cuisines under one roof. I saw food from Persia, food from Peru, of course, food from Colombia. So you can try it all right here.
I just had coffee on this trip, but I did return to eat with my brother and sister-in-law. All of the options for different types of food make this a fantastic choice when there are a number of people in the group. Everyone can choose exactly the kind of food they want. Most of the buildings in Ciudad del Rio are large, new, and attractive. It is a pleasure to walk the streets and check out the parks.
This is already a wonderful part of the city, and from appearances, it is getting better day after day. There is so much construction here, far more than I've seen in any other neighborhood.
Construction was taking place in all parts of this neighborhood. From the look of things, there will soon be more people living here and plenty more retail establishments to cater to them. Come to this part of the city in a couple of years, and it will be an even greater experience than it is now. Technically, my last two entries are not neighborhoods, but their own municipalities. Sabaneta is said to be one of the more popular places for people to live in the metro area. It lies around 12 kilometers or more than 7 miles south of the center of Medellin. I found it to be incredibly charming.
This park right in the center of the city is phenomenal. It is a small park, it is a small city, only about 15 square kilometers. This is known as the model municipality of Colombia, and I can see where they get that. This place is wonderful.
The Central Park is definitely a gathering place in the town. It is embraced by numerous businesses that have located around the periphery. As is the case with many Colombian towns, there is an attractive church just off of the main square. This is Iglesia de Santa Ana, where construction started in 1896 and was completed in 1930. A couple of metro stops north is Envigado. It too is a hotbed for residences. Its church is called Iglesia de Santa Gertrudis. This is 30 years older than the church in Sabaneta. To see the nature of this city, look no farther than Envigado Park. On the day that I visited, it was packed with both adults and kids participating in your normal festival activities. I loved seeing all the people out, enjoying the park, enjoying the day, and enjoying each other.
To me, Sabaneta felt like a large town or a large village. Envigado feels more like a small city. They're both readily accessible from downtown Medellin. All you have to do is jump on the Metro Line A and you're here in just a matter of moments.
To get to each of the parks in Sabaneta and Envigado, it was only a short 10 or 15-minute walk from their respective metro stations. I was glad that I decided to go take a look at these two towns.
That's it, my far from comprehensive look at the neighborhoods of Medellin. Hopefully, this allowed you to learn a bit about some of the places you can visit in this incredible city, and at the very least, see some of those locations. This brings to a close my time in Colombia. It has been a fantastic month. Next, it's off to Lima, Peru, where I will spend another month. Be sure to come back to Old Alone and Far From Home and follow my adventures there.